Alright guys, so today's video we're checking out a brand new pair of earbuds from JLAB. Now it's been a little while since we've checked out something from them, but today's product, which is the JLAB here, is something very different. Now it is a pair of true wireless earbuds, but it's actually a two-in-one device because it also doubles up as an over-the-counter pair of hearing aids. So if you're somebody that has hearing loss in any kind of fashion, this may be something you're interested in. Now, as far as the pricing on these, and I think this is what's going to appeal to most people, is they only come in at $99. And for a pair that you can also use as a pair of hearing aids, you'll know that hearing aids are usually much more expensive. Now, I don't think that medically this is made to like replace a pair of hearing aids, but it's made to give you some hearing options that you don't have to go out and spend a whole lot of money on a dedicated pair of hearing aids. Now, there are two different ways that you can connect these to your phone. There's a hearing aid mode, which basically just gives you that function to amplify the sound around you, which we'll talk about, or there's Bluetooth plus hearing aid mode. So you'll actually be able to have both modes all at once if you want, or you can just have hearing aid. And the reason you would want to do this is to save on the battery life, because if you have them just in hearing aid mode, you can get 10 hours of battery life on the earbuds themselves with about 40 hours using the case. But if you're going to use them in Bluetooth mode as well, it's going to cut the battery life down to 7 hours on the earbuds and 28 hours total using the case. Now, I don't see anywhere where there's any kind of fast charging. And the way that you charge these is in typical JLAB fashion, where it has the charging cable already built into the charging case. People either love or hate this. I'm actually a fan. It just gives me one less thing to keep up with, and then I can charge it into a laptop or a charging brick or whatever, because it uses a USB-C connection. Now, as far as anything else that they've included in the box, they actually give you two different style of ear tips. You have your normal silicone ear tips where you're getting the small, medium, and large, but you're also getting small, medium, and large vented ear tips. So it has like cutouts into the ear tips, and this allows you to hear things naturally around you. It's not trying to isolate you from everything else around you. And this is a huge plus, especially if you're going to use that hearing aid mode where you just need to hear everything around you. So not only will it amplify the things around you, it'll allow you to hear things naturally as well. Now, some other features and things about these earbuds is it does have Bluetooth 5.3, and it works with JLAB's Hearing Health app. So it doesn't work with their normal app. And this allows you to keep the earbuds updated. It allows you to change the sound levels on each earbud. So if you're going to use them in hearing aid mode and maybe you don't hear as good out of your right ear as you do your left, you can adjust those levels. There are EQ options, although it's really just JLAB's signature sound mode, or you can go in and customize the EQ settings you want. You can also turn the smart sensors on and off. So they do have the smart sensors where you can take them out while you're listening to something and it will just pause what you're listening to, and then it'll go back to what you're listening to when you put them back in. And then another mode that's in these, and this is what really makes this pair stand out, is the different listening modes that you have. Now, there's 4 different modes. There is a loud mode. So if you're going to use them in a louder environment like on the streets, it's made to kind of block a little bit more of that stuff out and not have it be as sensitive. There is a restaurant mode where obviously there's going to be a lot going on around you. It's kind of made to dull that out a little bit, so it's not as sensitive to that. There's a conversation mode where it focuses in a direction. So if you're talking to somebody, or if you're in a class and you're looking at somebody straight across the room, it's going to focus in on that voice and try to amplify that, so that is all that you're hearing. And then there is a quiet mode. Now, this is made more so if you're going to be at home, if you're going to be in a living room or your office and there's just not as much noise going on, you would turn it into this mode. So it's basically trying to amplify a lot more of the things around you. So if somebody's trying to call or get your attention from across the house, it will pick up that a little bit easier. So it's nice that it has all of these different modes. This is the focus with these having the ability to be a pair of over-the-counter hearing aids, and it does an incredible job at this. The mics on here pick up so well. It sounds very natural. It definitely has a very amplified sound depending on which mode that you have it in, but it works well in all the different modes that I tested them in. So, you know, it works for what they're made for. The transparency mode or ambient mode, just being able to hear and be aware of your surroundings is insane with this pair. This honestly is some of the best that I've heard on any pair of earbuds, but I guess it should be. I mean, that's really one of the main focuses on this pair, where you don't see this with other earbuds. Now moving over to looking at the case and the earbuds themselves, it doesn't look like anything special. The case on these is basically a typical JLAB case. It's plasticky, same thing with the earbuds themselves. On the outside, it looks like a simple pair of JLAB earbuds, and that is a huge plus. It does not look like a pair of hearing aids. It does not look huge. It doesn't have anything that goes around your ear. If anybody sees you, they just think that you have a normal pair of earbuds in your ear. Now on the underside of it, I do like the fact that it is clear. It allows you to see kind of the circuitry into the earbuds. They did the same thing with their Epic Edition earbuds, which I am a huge fan of. So from a design standpoint, it's not really made to stand out, and I think they pull that off very well. Now, as far as the controls on here, it really depends on which mode that you use them in as to which controls that you have. So if you have them in hearing aid mode, you only have the ability to control the volume on each earbud and control the sound mode. So if you need to switch it from, loud mode to quiet mode or conversation mode or restaurant, you do all that from the earbuds themselves. But if you have it in Bluetooth mode, this is where it kind of switches over to a normal pair of Bluetooth earbuds, and it gives you control over everything else. So your play, your pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, turning your volume up and down. The only thing that I noticed really is different from a Bluetooth earbud standpoint is it doesn't give you the different EQ modes or sound modes that JLAB normally has built into their other earbuds that you normally would just kind of switch between in the earbuds themselves. But I am glad that they give you the ability to control everything straight out of the box. Now, as far as using these for taking phone calls, this is another huge selling point about this pair because obviously the mics are very good to be able to have such a good transparency or ambient mode. It also works extremely well for phone calls, and that's even in noisy environments. I felt like it did a really good job of picking up my voice, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the JLAB here, and overall, it just does a really good job of picking up my voice. Now, I do notice some hollowness and some digital sound being added to my voice, but for the most part, I still come through extremely clear. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now the sound that I'm going to talk about is the signature sound that JLAB already has on these out of the box. It does not sound like all the other JLAB earbuds that I've tested. Usually they have a decent amount of bass where it kind of sounds a little bit boomy. It kind of makes the sound a little bit warm for the most part. And that's not what these are at all. Now there is bass presence, it's pretty fast, it's pretty tight. It's not loose at all, so it doesn't give you that subwoofer type feel. So I would really not recommend these if you're just looking at them as a, bass head type pair of earbuds. They're really made to be clear. So mids are bumped up, the treble is definitely bumped up. The treble has a fairly bright sound to it where the mids are giving vocalists definitely a more forward approach. So you can hear, people talking, you can hear male and female vocalists a lot clearer. So it's great for podcasts. I would say it's really good for easy listening and country and anything that's not like very bass driven. This also allows these to keep up with genres like rock and metal. So they are definitely fast. But I think if you mainly listen to pop and hip hop and anything that's more geared towards trying to bring out the low end a little bit more, that's where I think people are going to be disappointed in these. They just don't have that really forward bass approach that a lot of other main consumer earbuds have. They don't have that typical consumer curve. They are definitely leaning a little bit more to the mids and the treble, which is going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. The soundstage and the sound imaging, though, definitely benefits from this. It sounds like a much wider sounding pair of earbuds. It made me feel like I was in a large room, and I never had any issue with being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So my overall opinion is this. It really depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking at this pair just as a pair of true wireless earbuds by themselves, the $100 price tag is definitely not worth it. I would not recommend these as a $100 pair of true wireless earbuds. But the trick up their sleeve is being the over-the-counter hearing aid on top of being a pair of true wireless earbuds. And that is where the value is in these. And that's what makes this pair stand out, because that's not the focus of a lot of other earbuds out there. And at that, it does a very good job. I was so impressed at how well it picked things up. It made my ears extremely sensitive, because my ears still can hear very well. So amplifying that even more made me hear like very, very subtle things across the room that I wouldn't normally hear. So maybe in an office environment or a quiet office environment, if you needed to hear if somebody's trying to get your attention across the room where you wouldn't normally hear this, that is where I could see these benefiting people. And also people that just need a hearing aid, people that have suffered hearing loss, or people that hear less in one ear than they do the other. This kind of helps balance things out, and it helps be able to hear things that you wouldn't normally be able to hear. So this one's kind of hard to review because it's from just a normal earbud. It's not a $100 pair of earbuds, but it's not trying to be. It's trying to give you so much more that other earbuds can't. And at that, I think it's a very excellent value. But guys, that's my video on the JLAB here. They come in at $99. Again, this actually is only for pre-order right now. They're supposed to be released at the end of May, so keep that in mind. But thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.